Colten Boushie was a young Indigenous man from the Red Pheasant First Nation in Saskatchewan, Canada. On a summer day in August 2016, Colten and his friends set out for an afternoon of swimming and adventure. But their day took a tragic turn when their SUV broke down and they drove onto Gerald Stanley's farm seeking help. What happened next remains deeply contested. Gerald Stanley, a white farmer, claimed he had felt threatened by the group's presence. In the chaos, a gunshot was fired, striking Colten in the head and killing him instantly. In 2018, Stanley was acquitted of second-degree murder, a verdict that sent shockwaves across the nation. For many, it exposed the deep racial injustice engraved in Canada's legal system, a system that historically failed Indigenous peoples. An all-white jury rendered the decision. Indigenous communities across Canada mourned, feeling that Colten's life was devalued not just by his death, but by a legal system that seemed to prioritize the property and safety of a white farmer over the humanity of an Indigenous man. Belinda Jackson, a close friend of Colten's and a key witness, recounted the chaos of that day.
That day, we decided to go out to the lake, and there was a few of us, Colten, Eric, Cassidy, and Kira. We decided that we were going to go to the lake one day, and we hung out there for a little bit, and we swam around for a little bit, and it was coming towards like nighttime, so we decided, well, we should probably head back. And by then, I think we're all kind of like under the influence, and we were driving on the highway, and I wasn't really approving of the the way that he was driving. So I was kind of just getting upset and angry that I wanted to get out of the vehicle. So we stopped, and prior to stopping, I did notice that the vehicle, the tire, was like making noise, like it was going to come off the vehicle at one point, and it did. So that's when we came to a complete stop, and we checked out the vehicle, and I just wasn't too happy with the way things were, and I just wanted to not be in the vehicle with them anymore. And
were you close with them?
Yeah, I was pretty well close with I was close with Eric. I was close with Kiara. It was my first time meeting Colten that day, and my first time meeting Cassidy that day. And yeah.
How did you come to witness what happened that day?
So with that,
after the lake,
we decided that we needed to. Well, I know that we needed some sort of help with their vehicle, the tire, with the rubber coming off and all. And so the boys had decided to go to the nearest place for some help. And as we were getting there, I kind of noticed my surroundings, and it was on a farm, and it was some lady on a lawnmower. I recognized her as we were driving onto the property, making eye contact with the older lady. And as we approached the farm, it was an older man, and a younger man had come out and smashed the windshield of our window. I don't know if they thought we were like harm to them or what, but he came out and he approached us with the hammer to the window, and it scared off Eric. He ran away, and then as he ran, the two guys had guns with them, to the point where they shot off I don't know in which direction at that point, but
You said that you recognized her. Did you know her?
I didn't know her. I did not know her at the time at all. I didn't know who she was. I did not know her name.
Why would he just come and smash your guys' window? How did it come to that?
I have no idea. That part I do not recall. What I do recall is everything happened so quickly that there was no conversation with us to them or them to us. And it just happened fairly quickly that I don't recall any conversations of any sort.
And you were in the car when that happened?
I was in the vehicle. There was Cassidy as the driver. There was Colten as passenger. And behind the driver would be Eric. In the middle would be me. And behind Colten would be Kiara. And so Eric and Cassidy had got away. Cassidy had got picked up from the police. Sorry. Cassidy had made Cassidy had got away. Eric had got picked up from the police, and there was just me and Colten and Kiara left behind. Kiara was sleeping, and Colten was asleep. So at some point, the older man told the younger male that he was going to go get a gun, and as he did, he came back and he approached the passenger door and shot Colten in the head as he was sleeping. And I kind of just sat there and didn't know what to do.
Did he look at you? Did he say anything to you when that happened?
No, he kind of just backed away and stood there. They all at that point it was like all three of them, the two male and the female, were standing there kind of just in silence and not saying anything really at all.
How would you describe the surroundings?
It was
like the community where this happened.
It was quite scary. It was felt like I was dreaming. I didn't know that what was real, what was going on that was real for me.
How did he get out of there?
No idea what was going on. She didn't even know that her boyfriend had just got shot. And prior to us running, I couldn't believe what just happened. And I kind of just want to see for my own eyes to confirm that his life was taken from this man. And I got out, ran around the vehicle, opened the door, and he fell out of the vehicle face down. And he was very much unalive. And I ended up wanting to make my way out of there as soon as I heard the sirens. And that's when I woke up Kiara to leave.
And she was his girlfriend, right?
Yeah, at the time, they were actually in a relationship, and I didn't actually know that until later that night. And yeah.
How did you guys end up leaving the farm?
Leaving the farm, which going back to that, I felt like it was going to be a relief having the police come, but it didn't turn out to be that way. When they came, they put me in handcuffs, threw me in the back of a cop truck, and we didn't stay there for too long. We didn't stay there for too long at all. But I do remember looking back at the scene, and I remember like a bunch of the officers, investigators, maybe all just kind of just standing around the body, which looked to me to be simply enjoying a cup of coffee, it seemed like. And at that point, I kind of just felt really, really, really more uneasy to thinking that I'm not safe. I don't feel good, like why are they just all standing around? Someone just got shot. So when the police officer came back, I immediately knew that, I just felt like something wasn't right. And so when he got in the vehicle, there was a red truck that flew by the scene where Colten had got shot. And the RCMP that arrested me ended up chasing that other truck driver that passed by, and we went on a high-speed chase with that vehicle, and that person that we were chasing had absolutely nothing to do with us, and it just seemed like it was very really unnecessary at the time, considering what just had happened. And
yeah, do you think that they thought that it had something to do with what happened?
I'm thinking maybe by the looks of it, it does, but even just with just Colten being shot and then having to go on a little high-speed chase, and during the high-speed chase, killing some horses on the way with the police was kind of really unreal, like crazy to me. And there wasn't even no questions asked, nothing. We were just on a high-speed chase after watching someone get killed.
Can you tell me what it was like after you were brought back to the station after that happened?
It was painful because I didn't know what I was walking into. Not only that, but because I knew that Kira didn't know that her boyfriend had got shot, and she was just about to find out while we were in the cell. And Eric was calling out for everybody to just calling out their names, and as he reached Colten's name, I said, "He's not here," and he said, "Well, where is he?" And I said, "Oh, he got shot." And he couldn't believe that he got shot. And the guards had came and got upset because that we were conversating back and forth, and they threatened to take away my clothes and my mat because of us conversating. And so after that, I didn't want to say too much. I was kind of just really frightened and didn't know what to think, say, or do at that time.
How long were you being interrogated by the police for, and how was that like?
It felt like a very long time, but going back, I was interrogated for 17 hours, and it felt like a lifetime. It felt like a very, very long time.
It was 17 hours straight?
17 hours. Not completely straight, no, but it was a lot of going back and forth with that. And yeah, it was tough. It was very tough. So during my stay being interrogated at the police station, I was begging for clothes to wear because I just didn't like the fact that I was still covered in blood, of Colten's blood. And I have no idea how that much blood got onto my body and clothing, to be honest. I don't recall, but I do remember at one point I wanted to be clean from his blood on my skin, and they wouldn't allow me to do that. And I don't understand why. I had no running water or anything to drink in the cell, and I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel comfortable sitting there being interrogated with blood all over my body and not feeling like I was even allowed to wash the blood off, to be honest. And it just felt really unreal, very inhumane.
Inconsiderate. Mm-hmm. That must have taken a huge toll emotionally on you.
For sure, yeah.
Years later, Belinda took a bold step forward. She enrolled at the Native Education College, determined to study Indigenous Justice Studies. Her goal was clear: to advocate for the people and confront the legacies of the systematic racism in Canada. Her education was more than a personal pursuit. It was a mission to challenge a system that had failed Colten and countless others. She learned about restorative justice, land rights, and ways to uplift Indigenous voices within the legal framework. The story of Colten Boushie is a reflection of Canada's ongoing reckoning with race, colonialism, and systematic injustice. And through her journey, Belinda Jackson became a voice for change, a testament to the resilience of Indigenous communities.